Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a cook with me video, and I'm going to be making southern cornbread dressing, and I want to bring you guys along with me. So I'm going to be showing you the recipe of how I prepare it and the ingredients that I put inside of mine. And let's get started. So the night before, I went ahead and I prepared 2 pans of cornbread. I like to do it the night before and put it in the refrigerator overnight, and that helps the cornbread to dry out completely so that you don't have to worry about it being soggy when you're preparing it. So as you can see right here, I have 2 pans already made, and now I'm going to crumble them up into very small pieces and add them to the bowl. And then we'll start building. This is how you want to crumble it. You want it to be very loose. So now I am crumbling up the second pan of cornbread, and like I said, I prepared 2 pans, and some people use breadcrumbs in theirs with the cornbread, but I didn't want to do that, so that's why I made 2 separate pans. So that's what this is. This is the second pan. Okay, so I finished crumbling up both pans of cornbread, and this is what it looks like. And it's pretty full. It's a lot. This bowl is really big, so it may not look like a lot, but it is. Okay, so the next ingredients that you're gonna need is, for me, I personally put celery, onions, and sometimes green bell peppers. It just depends. And sometimes parsley flakes. So you would need those things. You could either get them frozen or you can get them fresh and cut them up yourself. I was able to find a frozen bag of it. It's the seasoned blend bag, and I just took out the red peppers that I didn't want. And I also picked up, I found this at Walmart. It's a container of pre-chopped, it calls it a dressing mix. So it's already pre-chopped. It has white onions, celery, and green bell peppers in it. Since I decided to add a little bit more of the cornbread, I decided to go ahead and add to this amount, because I figured this wouldn't be enough. So that's why I added one more, the other bag of the seasoning blend. So before you saute that, you want to go ahead and put some oil in a pan. And then you add the butter. And the reason why you add the oil to the pan and not just the butter is because the butter will burn, and you don't want that, so the oil will help it not to burn. So once the butter starts to heat up and starts to melt, I will then start to add my celery and onions and bell peppers in here. Okay, so I have sauteed my vegetables, and they are very soft, and that's what you want so that it will blend easily inside of the mixture. You don't want to have crunchy, well, I know I don't like to have crunchy vegetables inside of my dressing. So this is how mine looks when I'm done. So next, I move that out the way. I'll take my bowl that I'm working with, And I'm going to start using some poultry seasoning. I have some garlic powder. I have my sage, salt and pepper, of course, and I'm going to start using that, and I'm going to do a teaspoon of each one of these seasonings. Okay, so to my cornbread, I'm about to start adding my seasonings, and I couldn't find my 1 tablespoon measurer, so I have my half one. So I'm gonna double it, because for every seasoning I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of it. So for the poultry seasoning, I'm gonna start off with a tablespoon. For my garlic powder, and it's always best to start off with less, and then you can add more. You don't want to just go in and put a lot of different amounts of the seasoning, because if you put too much, you can't take it back out. So I like to start off with just that little bit. And since I already have onions in my veggies, I don't have to add onions powder or anything like that, because I really don't like onions, but I'm just putting it in there for the seasoning. So from this right here, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending it together. Make sure I get it all mixed in. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do is cut up some chicken to put inside of the mixture. And so I already have some baked chicken that I made last night, so I'm gonna use that. They're skinless, boneless chicken thighs. So I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna cut them up into small pieces so that it'll mix well with the mixture. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that. Okay, so I have already added my chicken and my vegetables, and I made sure that I mixed it all up so that everything is mixed well together. And now I'm going to use my chicken broth from when I cooked baked chicken last night. So I have 3 cups of it. Now, depending on how wet or how dry you want your dressing to be, then that would determine how much liquid you use. I don't like dry dressing. I like mine to be moist, so I'm gonna put all 3 cups in here. And if I decide that I want more, then I have it in the can, the chicken broth in the can. But I wanted to use this first because it has all the flavoring and seasoning from the chicken that I cooked last night. So I went ahead and finished mixing this up. I end up using 3 cups of my chicken stock from last night, and it wasn't moist enough. So I went ahead and added 1 can of the chicken broth. So after that, this is what it looks like. I like this consistency. And so now I'm going to add 2 cans of the cream of chicken to the mix. So after I added the 2 cans of cream of chicken, this is what it's looking like. See how moist that is? And that will give it tons of more flavor. Okay, so I have 3 cracked eggs, and I've already mixed them up. And now I'm gonna pour it in. And I'll go ahead and mix that together. Okay, so after I added the eggs, this is the consistency that you're looking for. And I had already did a taste test before, so I can make sure that I didn't feel like I needed to add any more spices. But I think with all the seasoning and vegetables and the cream of chicken, I think all of that together gave it just the right amount of taste that it would need. And so now what I'm about to do is pour it up in the pan, and you want to have a greased dish. So you can either grease it with butter or you can use your cooking spray. And you're gonna bake it on 350 for 45 minutes to an hour. Depending on your oven, that time can vary. Some ovens cook faster, some cook slower. So depending on that, you wanna adjust your timing. But for me, I'm going to cook it at 350 for 45 minutes until it's all solidified and I can tell that it's done. I don't want mine crispy or crunchy, so I'll make sure that I don't overcook it. You guys make sure you try this recipe. If you like cornbread dressing, you would definitely like this one. It is delicious, and it's also filling. And don't forget that we added the chicken on the inside, so if you want to eat it just as a meal on its own, you have all your veggies and your meat all in one. So I cut into it, and this is what it looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching this Cook With Me video. I hope you enjoyed watching me cook my southern cornbread dressing. I hope that it turned out well for you guys if you do decide to try it, and that is tasty as it is for me. If you did like it, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.